about a product, talks about a tool in depth, and to understand what that tool does. The third activity that these clubs do, we do hands-on workshops. Hands-on workshops is where we can come and get our hands dirty with code. We can do code labs. Code labs is just like we go to the physics lab or chemistry lab and mix chemicals and stuff just to make sure that we come up with a product. So when I say a code lab, I mean a lab for code where we can come and just get dirty with code. The second last one, we can have a speaker session. A speaker session can be about an expert coming in, telling us their experience, telling us about a certain technology, and not coding, but someone giving us technical content about a certain program or tool. You may find that someone just comes and says something about, let me say, the console. Those of you who have ever opened, should I call it the Google Chrome console? That one. For those of you who have ever interacted with it. So we can have a speaker session and someone is just talking of how to use that Google Chrome console. That can be a speaker session. And then lastly, we could have showcasing. For those of you who like, you can call it, okay, let me just say showcasing in terms of where someone can have a product and that product can be good for all of us, and they bring it up and they share it with us. And we can get inspired from how the product works, and we can also learn how to build something out of it, just an inspiration from someone showcasing their product. So basically, those are some of the things that we should expect when we join clubs. Not only Google Developer Students Club, but as long as there is a community that looks like this one, it will be good for you to join one, because number one, you'll feel confident that you are under a community, even if you are contributing so little, but just imagine that Bill Gates gives you a call and says, let's go out for dinner, and you take selfies with them. Do you know how you feel? You feel like a billionaire just those few minutes you are there. So that's the kind of feeling that you get when you join these clubs. Like you could see here, you connect, you meet people interested in the same things you're interested in, you learn. Because I'm joining here, like we're going to, like we may see in future, you find yourself hearing of something you've never heard about, and it will never be new to you, and you can also contribute. Then the last most important thing is growth. I should say I was so helped by joining communities here. Where I work from the Innovation Village, you meet at least every day, you meet a bright mind with a new idea that you've never even thought of. And it just mesmerizes you of how people come up with those ideas. And every time someone tells you something, there is a way it sparks your mind that even if you don't do it, your mind just broadens about that particular thing. So that's it about, I've covered the first thing. I hope I've covered it so well. All right, so why you should join the community, I've said something about it. How do you know that you're on the right track? Most of us are students. You can be in year 1, year 2, year 3. I'm currently in my last year. And I don't regret so far the few things I know. And I should say, school is so good. School is so good because there are very many things you hear from school, and they'll open your mind that you may never hear them somewhere else. But one thing I learned about being in school and getting and attending lectures is at least they'll say something that will that will help you build onto what you know, or that may intrigue you to search about that particular thing. There are a lot of things that, sorry, I have to, I don't have corona, but I don't know why my cough is disturbing me. Let me just mute here and, excuse me. All right, I didn't want to make for you noise. Someone is saying I don't contaminate you. Yeah, that's why I had muted, not to contaminate your ears. I was saying something about school, that school is good, I should confess, because you get to learn, not learning, but you get to hear of things that you've never heard before since you joined school. Things concerning computer science, math, things concerning data structures and algorithms, things concerning database management, things concerning networks. But let me tell you, one thing I learned about school is if you don't take the initiative to explore more about something that you've got interested in, it will never be of help. That one I can assure you. There are a lot of things that I have learned. I've learned them through self-discovery. And that's why you'll find most people calling them self-taught. Most people calling themselves self-taught developers. In actual sense, no one is a self-taught developer unless you come and you were born a developer. But what they mean is they put in extra effort beyond the normal effort to become what they are at the moment. So when you're comfortable in school, knowing that after 3 years you may get a job, let me tell you, if you do not put in extra effort, it may be hard for you to get a job. And what's my piece of advice? While we are in school, there are a lot of opportunities we can have when we're in school. And to me, I would advise that knowing where your strength may lie, I started with JavaScript because to me, I looked at JavaScript was pretty friendly, you know, like seeing a girlfriend who looks outgoing, and I know you can just tell them a word and they're excited. That's how I was seeing JavaScript. So I picked it up because I just got so interested in it and I thought it would be easy. And I don't regret how far I've gone with JavaScript because even if you're a C person, at one moment you'll meet JavaScript in your life. That one I can assure you. Though currently I'm doing Python. But this would be my advice. How do you make the most of your years at campus so that you get ready for jobs out there? Number one thing, joining a club or society. I can say that you guys, if you're here and our lead has nice programs for us, you will not regret being here. You will not regret being here. The second thing, I've not, sorry, I've shared with your screen that is not moving, but I'm going to soon change it. So don't worry. There's some sites I want to show you. The second thing is joining programming competitions. I know it's hard and most of us don't know where to find these things, but as my second colleague will be explaining, I'll try to put some links in the comment section so that I will try to put some links in the comment section so that you can have opportunity to explore those sites that have these things. And if our lead, that is Richard, has made a good program for us, we expect that we can have a programming competition by maybe the end of the year, by the end of next year, and we can have a feel with the new members of the community of how little you can do just to solve a task. Number three, I would encourage all of us to join an open source community. I know David and Joshua can testify, or Dawud and Joshua can testify. I know there may be others who are in open source communities, but I'm speaking of the people I know. Joining an open source community is really good for everyone because you get to volunteer on real tasks in the world. He said that you don't apply, you just join this, like this red. That's the way when you will be paid for a long time and a lot of other things. Number five. Is that number 5 or number 4? While you're at campus, it is good to have a project outside of classroom. Something that is not really connected to what you're studying, or no, let me not say it like that. Something that is not connected to an assignment. It is something you're studying, but it is completely away from an assignment they gave you. I remember in the middle of last year, I was trying to play with the Twitter API. I was trying to make some bots out of the Twitter API. There is something I wanted to do with the Twitter platform. But the problem is getting the Twitter API, getting access to the Twitter API is a long process. It is like applying for a national ID in Uganda. And when they found out what I wanted to use the API for, I certainly didn't get it. But it's interesting when you're working on a project that you love and no one is pushing you. It's not an assignment. It is not related to the classroom work, but it's just you and your project. So while you join campus, it is good that you do some of those activities. Join a club, go for a programming competition, join an open source community, and number 3, have at least a project that is outside the classroom that you can engage with. So after you've done those activities, it is good to focus. And the focus I mean here is focusing on a programming language, one programming language. I've seen people calling themselves full stack developers just in year 1 of university. And not because I don't know their background, but just because they printed Hello World and they can print it in different languages, they end up calling them full stack developers. Even me right now, I don't feel confident calling myself a full stack developer because I really now know what it takes. But being proficient in one language and mastering your programming skills using that language is really good for you, because in the end, when you master one language, it is going to help you grasp other languages so easily and so fast. But jumping from one language to another, that one, I refuse you to do it. Just because this semester I did Python and next semester I did JavaScript and next semester I did C, you want to say that I'm a full stack developer. No, things don't work that way. So while you are at school and while we are still in school, it is good for us to pick one language and use that language to learn programming, let me call it programming fundamentals. And what do I mean fundamentals? Data structures and algorithms. I don't know how much, maybe I'll request my brother Dawud to emphasize data structures and algorithms. It looks so technical, but it is not. It is not. But anyone who says that if they do programming and they do not know data structures and algorithms, I look at themselves as people who deceive. They are deceiving. They are deceiving. So use that one language to learn very many skills, to learn very many programming techniques, as long as they are provided for in that language. Object-oriented programming, how to deal with databases, functional programming, if the programming languages accept functional programming. I mean, learn all those skills, but with one language. I'm about to finish talking so much. So while you're building your proficiency in the using that one language, there are very many other things you'd want to know about computing. It is very sad for someone to be saying that I'm doing a computer-related course, and they do not know an operating system. They don't know what Ubuntu is. They do not know what Windows is. They don't know what Mac OS is. I mean, they do not know what firmware is. They do not know what BIOS is. They don't know how a programming language is interpreted. I mean, there are very many things that you should learn on top of knowing how to print Hello World. So while you know one programming language, or while you are focusing on proficiency in one programming language, it is better for us to also learn the other things around computer science, knowing how an operating system works, knowing how binary digits work, knowing how there is one funny topic in programming, and it's called Bitwise Operation. I don't know whether you people have ever met Bitwise operations, but it is all about dealing with zeros and ones, using zeros and ones to make multiplications and divisions. I mean, to make mathematical computations. So there are those other nitty-gritty things that you may not meet in your programming language, but they're essential for you to know as a programmer. So you make sure you use your years at school, not only at school, but your free time to learn things around a programming language. And lastly, as you do that, I can say that programming is not a straight path. You'll go to YouTube, you'll go and search, and you'll meet people saying how I became a software developer in 2 months, how I landed a job at Google in 6 months, what should I say, and what shouldn't I say? But you'll meet a lot of information. One thing I should say, all our paths are different. And I can't say that everything I've said after I do it, you're going to get a job and you're going to ride a car, you're going to build a house, but at least there is an acceptable path to becoming a developer that you'd wish to become. I've said something about it. How do you know you're on the right track? How do you know you're on the right track? I've given you an overview that looked, let me say, how do they call that word? That looked jumbled, but it is important for us. I wanted to cover all those three things that were put down in the infographic in one nice way, and I hope I have tried to do that. All right. So as I wind up, because we have 1 hour and I've already eaten 5 minutes of my time. As I wind up and David comes in, I should say we as developers, there are things that at the moment we need to take good concern about. One thing is we should learn never to program. Let me say, no programmer has ever succeeded programming independently. Never be there and you think that you're going to stay in your room and program and hack without a community. I don't know how to make that one clear, but you'll never be a superstar alone. Great people work in teams. Great people work in teams. And let me say that again. Great people work in teams. So if you're willing to be great in any of these fields, you must make sure that you have a team. Someone out there knows what you're working on, and they can help you, guide you, they can help you, lead you to good networks, and you'll be so successful. All right. Something that I'm done. Unless there is some other thing that I want to talk about. But the screens I wanted to share with you are just two. Something that Richard was supposed to talk about at the end. At Google Developer Students Club, we have an opportunity to, where is that? We have an opportunity that whereas we have the chance to be learning anything concerning technologies, we're given chance also to explore Google projects, and some of them, there are very many Google projects. I don't know. Maybe I can just talk of Firebase. Firebase here. Firebase. If we would have chance to explore further, you'd see Firebase is called a serverless tool. It's an app development platform that helps you to develop a full stack application without need of knowing what the back end is doing. It's a good tool that we can explore in one of our tech talks. That's if chance is given to us. Another tool, Angular. Those of you who have used JavaScript, Angular is just an application framework based on JavaScript that does the front end. Those of you who have done React and Vue.js. It's also one of the Google technology. Another Google technology that, where is it? These things are funny, but I like how this website is. I'll send it. Oh yeah, Flutter here. For those of you who do Android and iOS development, Flutter is a good platform that you can use to build an Android and an iOS app just using a single code base. You don't need to have they call them native application. You can use Flutter and build an iOS app. Now, where am I bringing these technologies? That since these projects are under Google, joining Google Developers Club gives you an opportunity that at least you will be near someone who has information about one of these technologies, and they could be of great help to you. Okay, it is 20 minutes to 6 and I'm getting excited with my mouth. I want to say, let me first pause it there. And I hope I've said sense. I hope I've said sense. Yeah, let's take it from there.
Yes,
Derek.
thank you so much, Enoch. Thank you very much for your great words. I've learned something. Great people work in team. Then, when you are doing programming, it's good to do some other things around computer science. It's just like a few other things like data structures. That was great. That was great. Thank you so much, Enoch. This time, I want to welcome Mr. Dawood. Please, Mr. Dawood, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm audible.
You are, you
Are you
are,
able to hear
we
me?
can hear
Yes,
you.
yes, we are getting you, sir.
Guys, nice to see you, and I'm glad to be here. I think let me share my screen.
That one is an organized
And
developer.
okay, allow me just share my video as I talk briefly. And nice to see the leaders again inviting me to be back in this club. This is my second time. Well, my name is Dawud Kapizzi. I am one OB of Bugema University. I graduated this year in computer science. That's the brief introduction. And my current work, I do, I'm a QA test engineer at OpenMRS. That is an open source community. And I also do some work with ADRA, Uganda. That is, I'm a consultant on their website. And at the same time, I'm working with the government of Uganda, working on one of their systems. I was given 20 minutes, and I can see already we have 18 minutes that are left. But I think let me do 10 minutes because I would love to hear questions from people, from the members around that may have questions. And I'm so glad that my leader, that is Kasada, has taken us through most of the things. Let me hope I'm audible because I may be talking on myself and others are not able to hear.
You're audible. That has been the most asked question on Google on meetings. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, so I'm going to first talk about briefly what makes people to be good programmers, or what can make you become a good developer. And that one will take 5 minutes, trust me. And then I will also have a sharing of how I went through this journey of programming up to where I am now. Also 5 minutes, and then the 10 minutes, I will leave them to questions for people. So let me share my screen briefly of what can make someone a good developer. I know you can Google around and see various people talking about. So this is not the ultimate answer of what makes people good developers. But to me and from my experience, I feel they are worth to be shared. Not sure how I can share I think I need to share the tab. Let me share again. No, it's weird. Should I share tab or window? Enoch, what type are you using?
I was sharing a tab. I don't
Well, a
know.
tab.
You
So
have to share a slide. You have to share the slideshow
yeah, slide.
presentation.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you can start the slideshow presentation and see how it goes.
Okay,
Just start the slideshow and share. I mean, just share, then start the slideshow.
okay.
Yeah.
So are you able to see now the slides?
Technical problems.
Yeah, yes, we are
I
able
mean,
to
now you
see.
can start the slideshow.
Yeah,
You're able to see. So I just summarized 5 points that I feel I can share them with you of what can make someone to be a good a developer, but these are not the ultimate answer. or ultimate, points, but you can still also have other points. Number one is patience. You must be patient. If you are to penetrate through programming, or whether you are to penetrate through networking, you have to have patience. Because if you don't have patience, you will quit within just a week and say the things are not running. So you have to be patient. Some people take 6 months, others take year, 1 year, 2 years, and others even take 3 years, but they finally penetrate. So patience is very important. The number two is consistency. A programmer is someone who loves programming, is somebody who is always consistent. Almost every day you have to write code, almost every day. Even when you're not on your computer, you're always thinking of how, that error is coming into, how you can resolve it. So you have to be consistent. So if you are programming today and you take a full month without again programming, then you will get it hard to penetrate through, because this is a skill that you master through consistency. So you have to almost every day, at least a week, personally, I get sick if I've not written a code at least every day, maybe just apart from one day which I go for worship. That is on Sabbath that I don't go, but other days I feel sick if I've not programmed. So you have to be consistent, but once you do it every day, you become, you become familiar with the syntax. You become familiar with the language. You also encounter many logs and errors, and solving them is fun, and you get to grow your technical skills. So consistency is not. Then number three is Googler. When I talk about this point, may seem to be, you need always to Google, because programming, no problem you'll face that has never been faced by any other programmer. So programming has been in the world for some good time, since 1990s. Actually, when I was studying, we were told in 1950 when computers came into, but serious programming has, I think, emerged in 1970, 1990. But no problem you'll face, whether you're doing JavaScript or Python or what, that guys out there have not faced. And once you paste it into the Google search, solutions will be there. And so you need to be a good person in Googling. I also Google personally. So the second last is optimistic guy or optimistic lady. So programmers are always optimistic. They're always, positive guys. Things will be made up. Things are not running now. This error is not, I'm not overcoming this. Guy is a blocker. But trust me, if you're too optimistic, always positive, it may take you a week or a day and figure it out. From my experience, as I will share in the next session, is I printed a hello world of Java after a full month. And so your experience might have been different. Maybe in a 1 week you printed it, but it took me 1 full month to print it. And once I printed it out, I was excited. And that was the starting journey of my programming. So you need to be optimistic, you need to be positive, because you will find bugs, you'll find errors, programs are not running the way you expect it. You need to be positive. You need to be, always expecting that to be made up. And Enoch talked about something, you have to utilize, open source communities and other programmers around, because you may find that something small that is you are dancing around when someone knows what to do and on which line to change it. So you may not be able to, you may not do it alone and you figure it out, but you can meet out to guys who are in the same language. If you are in Python, you can reach out to Enoch or other people around, and Google inclusive. So my best friend now is Google. So whenever I get a challenge, I Google. Not until I figure out a problem, a solution, that I now keep on and move on. So the last point is, the last point here is coders don't quit. This is funny. Coders never quit. I want even to stop sharing my screen from there. Coders never quit. whether things are running into the direction they want to go, they are running in the opposite direction. Coders and good programmers will never quit. So there are guys who try it out, and when things are not running out, they quit. And once they quit, uh, coming back into the game, they find it hard. So you don't need to quit. If you have gone into the field of networking, you need to concentrate there. You will also find challenges there, but never quit on something. It's about the passion you have. And once you persist, do the persistence, do the patience, the consistency, and all other, as I've talked about, yeah, you'll make it to the end. And other factors that I've not spoken about are also considered. So you can still also Google. Many people say, hey, you want to be a programmer? Look at my videos. You can look through them. And just as Enoka said, I want to refer to his words. Programming is not a straight road. You can go ups and down, program, things don't run. Maybe some people even they quit for 1 month and then they come back. And so it's not a straight path. There are those who have gone into a good experience. They have just penetrated through quickly, but it's not a straight path that, so you need to think about all that. But I want to let me trust you that if you have the passion of programming, or if you have passion to be a networker, no one will never take away the passion from you. And you will always come to the end as a successful guy. No matter the time, it may take 1 year, it may take months, but once you have the passion, no one can ever drive the passion from you. I want to end there, and I just share my experience in 4 minutes because I've used 6 minutes there. And then I will invite questions at least because I wanted it to be so interactive. Allow me first take my water because I'm a guy who likes water.
And you're smart on the Sunday.
And it is very hard
to find. Just share my video, people will run away.
Okay. So my experience was, we have different experiences, and I don't want to say that my experience might be the best to follow, but just my experience when I joined Bugema in 2017, I was introduced to C by Mr. Chinene Philemon. I think you know him. And C was a hard language. I didn't like C. C was kind of, code block, even indentation, can fail stuff. And so I wanted something that was interesting to me. And when I Googled around, that was I think in December, that is 2017. I went into a Google search and I searched what are the best languages to program in. And, guys had made blogs, many, and I found Java was number 1. And I said, if Java is number 1, let me click into Java. That was, then I began my journey like that in Java, and I loved Java, but it took me 1 full month to print Hello World. Yeah, so in 2018, January, I remember Googling a statement that says, how can I make money when I'm a student? I wanted money. And so guys that were giving the directives, they were referring to some Google programs that offer some internship for students. And I landed into what we call Google Summer of Code, that it exists for students who can work with open source organizations, and they are able to do a project there. And so I also had again to Google what are open source organizations. By that time, we had not studied even what open source was. So I was Googling. Then there were many open source organizations, very many. And by that time, I was a programmer who could program Hello World. And I was joining.
Full stack.
So, no, I didn't call myself a full stack anyway. But by that time. But after some time, I Googled different organizations, and the organization that took my attention was OpenMRS because it had a caption, write code, save lives. I picked interest in OpenMRS. I joined in 2018, January, but I stuck into the community for 9 months when I didn't know what to do. 9 months. So I didn't know where to begin from. But in 2018, as it was coming to an end, I meet a guy called Malay. Malay was a student here. We were supposed to graduate together, but somehow, somewhere for him, he's about to graduate. He was taken up by work that he's now working, and he wasn't able to graduate with us. But he gave me some tips on how I can become more active in the community. So I became active. 2019, I was selected to be a Google coding mentor. And in Google Coding Mentor, it was another experience when I was selected to be a mentor in OpenMRS to mentor students. So 2019, it sparked my interest, but I would find some days, most of the days, I would not even sleep. By that time, I was a lab attendant, and most of my days I would sleep in the lab. I remember the mosquitoes eating me almost. It was tough by that time. So I would stay in the lab coding and coding my own programs. But I was just passionate because I wanted at least one day I become a software developer who could work from home. So I was always passionate about that. So in brief, the journey was too long because 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, when COVID came, I didn't even succeed in Google Summer of Code. And my time had gone had passed on because I was supposed to graduate, and that is for students who are doing their courses at campus. But finally, in 20 this year, by God's grace, I would still want to say I penetrated through. And I would say the journey has been 4 years. But as I would say in the last thing and sharing my experience is you guys, you are in school. I know Mr. Mugerwa, I don't know whether he's around. Is Mr. Mugerwa around here?
He's available.
Mr. Mugerwa, can you say hi?
Yes, he's
Hi
on.
there.
He's around. I want to say you guys, things you study in class, they are good. But if you are passionate about programming, you may not need to give too much time to classwork because things that are studied in the class, they are theory. You need to do more of the practical work because things in class, some guys focus on grades, some guys, which grades are good, I would say, but I've not been asked my document of Bugema on any of the work now I'm doing. Even that of the government that I got was through the project I did, and the guy, the technical lead of the Ugandan MR, picked interest, and he contacted me, but they did not ask me about my papers. ADRA Uganda, also the same. So you may have your grades, you may have your first class, but if you don't have a skill, the work of programmers, they don't even want to look at your papers, but they want to focus on your skill. So focus on the skill, but I do not want to say that you neglect class. Take the classwork, and I want to tell you that if you're a programmer and you're a networker and you are really serious with the practical stuff, when you come to those things of the theory, they become porridge because what they are speaking about is what you are implementing, and they even enjoy. I remember Mr. Mugura taking us through Windows Client Server. I enjoyed it, and I subnetted the stuff theoretically, but I used to subnet things in the other side. So it became fun, and I want to believe if you could even say I should be one of these students who performed very well. I might have not been the best, but I think I was among. But when you are doing some practical work, you get the skill. The things of the class you study, they become now, you see their value that, their theory, but now their side is a practical stuff. I want to end with one thing. Kasada, you took most of the time. Kasada, you took most of the time.
I apologize.
Okay, so I want to end with 1 minute at least because I wanted to hear people's questions and some experience at least for 5 minutes. But I know I want to also.
But people have data here.
Yeah, but I want to respect your time because you programmed it, but they could extend for some 5 minutes. So I want to say that joining a community is very important. Joining an open source or a community like there are many companies. Joining a community, open source communities are very, very great way to go into. Because may I want to say, if I had known how one can grow in open source community, and I had joined in 2017, I would get even the job before 2018. An experience of this guy called Malay is my senior, but we are almost now on the same level. But he joined in 2017. He had some highlight on open source, and in 2018 he got a job. And when he got a job, he started playing around with even studies. He could not get much time anyway. But if you join open source for communities, you get to get smart people. You get guys from different background, guys from different experience. And once now, even personally, I'm working with Open Maris. But there are times when I get stuck and come to the community. I ask them when I've taken maybe a full night figuring out why this server is not behaving the way it is expected, and all of a sudden a guy we have some weird guys who are very bright, having different experience of over 20 years. They even tell you, change this line, do this, it will work out, and it works like a charm. What I'm trying to bring out is you may not be able to grow yourself alone, but when you join these open source organizations, you get friends, you get even, working on different tools. I began in Java, but I'm now not even using Java so much. I use JavaScript, I use a language called Gherkin. Now there's another language that I'm learning that is called Kemta. So as you may have maybe JavaScript, once you learn that language, you master in it, transferring into the other becomes simple. So I want to still conclude with this word: join open source organization, because they will make you grow. They will make you grow, you'll make you interact with different tools, you will keep updated with guys all over the world, Germany, England, USA, every kind of, it's a collection. Though in the beginning you're not paid, but once you get the skill will pay you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dawud, for that good brief and good talk. I really want to. Maybe I should also get a cup of water and share my screen. Awesome. So let's continue with the next agenda, with the next item on our agenda. But before, I really want to thank each and everyone for staying with us until now. It's really an honor. Thank you so much. So let's have some remarks from Mr. Mugera. And if anyone has a question to either Enoch, me, Richard, you can send us a direct message in the chat box, or you can send the message public. So, Mr. Mugera.
Okay, just a minute before Mr. Mugera comes in, Joshua. I also want to thank Mr. Kakumirizi. Thank you so much for those words. And allow me, guys. I will pass my question here, just as I don't know, on behalf of every upcoming developer here, before Mr. Mugera comes in. To everyone who has been presenting today, I want to know, is it okay for someone beginning programming to begin with? Okay, is every language okay when you're beginning programming? Is every language okay to begin with? Thank you so much. Mr. Mugera, you're welcome.
All right, so I think Mr. Moderator, you're taking the questions, and when the time for answering the questions come, the appropriate presenter will answer the question. I would take less than 10 minutes. I can see you've allotted me 10 minutes, but I hope take less than 10 minutes. First and foremost, a good evening to all of you that have really showed up for this. I know buying data on your own budget as a student and sparing this time and the discipline to be here, it's not easy. One of the things I always tell that I found with the students always have valid excuses. But unfortunately, the world doesn't listen to excuses. And excuses don't put food on the table, neither do they pay hospital bills. But students have usually very good valid excuses. But I want to appreciate the 11 of you or the 10 of you who are on here. That I really, this time is not a loss, this time is not a loss. When you plant a mango tree today, you don't harvest the mango tomorrow, but usually you get the mango after some period. Unfortunately, some people want to eat the mango, but don't want to plant the tree. So they forget that before the mango comes, somebody must plant the tree. So you guys are planting the tree, and I guarantee you one time you will you'll enjoy the mango when it ripes, when it ripes. One of the things that usually fascinate me is people who actually come from a background of nothing usually work hard to get to somewhere, I remember, for example, Kakumi is joining university. I was there back then. He was a simple boy, humble boy. I think he came in second semester, and he looked green about most of the things. Sorry to use this David as a live example,
Yeah,
but I always loved the way he always came in the office there with some challenges and stuff like that, bringing mathematical issues and stuff like that. I never feel happy when I see him almost, keeping the fire burning. So I want to encourage most of you who are still new. Some of you might be at your certificate level still, others might be at your diploma. Some of you might be fresh in your bachelor's, and sometimes you get intimidated by the speeches of other people, and you feel like you're nothing. One of the people whom I have a live testimony is the person who was just presented. And even I myself, I remember when I joined the campus, my lecturer for C programming wrote a program on the whiteboard, which had a lot of bugs. Never read. That was the program we made in our first class for C. So things were very harsh. And until I finished my 3 years for bachelor's, I had hated programming. But when I came to the field, I realized this is a thing you can never run away. So, and I've always kept on growing and learning as well. So, and by the way, I think Enoch hasn't communicated to you, but we're organizing a full stack boot camp very soon. And I think Enoch, when it's ready, we shall unveil the program. But
Yeah, that's right.
when that time comes, please, we call for your support and your presence. So now, let me conclude like this. I always tell people there are certain things that are assumed by default that when you see one, it implies another. And for example, this is one. When an organization sees that you are good at what you're doing, there is no need of them asking you for papers. However, okay, chances are high, and research has shown there are very few students who perform well at organizations that never performed well in class. The hard work you put in learning these new things, when you translate the same hard work into class environments become very, very simple. They become very, very simple. Very simple. I remember when I was studying my CCNA, I loved networking so much. I loved routers. I loved switches, and I watched almost 5 videos for every new concept that I came across in that career. In that course, for every new concept. For example, if I come across CSM SCD, I watched around 5-10 videos just explaining CSSMA, and doing the exams for CCNA became very, very easy for me. So the point I'm passing is, you guys, when you really put in the hard work in all you're doing, and you translate the same into the class environment, the good grades for the class become obvious. And that's why actually organizations want you for your academic documents, because they see what you do or what you do almost mirrors exactly what you have on the paper. But when you start underperforming, they'll start evaluating and checking. But how did you come here? where are the papers? Show us. You know, so when they start doubting your performances, so please put in the hard work, you know, in whatever you do, and I guarantee when you come into the class, even the classwork becomes very, very simple. Leave alone the people who spend sleepless nights when the exam is tomorrow. So the person spends a sleepless night reading for an exam which is going to be there tomorrow. Yet the person has had the previous 3 or 4 months, you know. So briefly, let me end at that for now. I promise not to go beyond 10 minutes, and so far I've used 8 of them. So let me pause at that. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I love the spirit to those of you who have made it this far. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing from you more.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Mugera, for sharing something with us. In the meeting, we have very many people who I would really want them to say something. There was a friend of ours called Anago. Anago, I'm sorry if I have mentioned your name in the wrong way. I'm really sorry about that. But Anago, thank you for joining. He's a Google developer students lead from Benin, Sam University from Benin. Thank you for joining with us. We are going to follow a hierarchy where each and every one, like if someone has a question, you will raise up your hand and you'll get a chance to speak. Is that clear to each and everyone?
Hello.
Yes, and I will say something to us.
Yes, Anago.
Hi everyone. Good evening to all. I hope we are all going well.
Yeah, sure.
It is a pleasure for me to join your meeting because we are all the same and we are together. And I encourage you a lot of, and I ask you to support your leaders in that task because it is not easy and and work hard because we are in a world all thing is fast and fast more than more. So to according to me, the technology is only one remains the only hope that remains for Africa to be independent in the world. And if they are also take that, then we are screwed. So we cannot get another chance to be big in the world. So for me, I encourage so far to collaborate with other people, uh, other person who want to be very to be to do a thing that South Africa can be very high in the technology. So that is because I want to be one of the person who can do all of her power to grow up. Sorry, sorry for my English language because I'm in French people. According to us, English is very hard for us. So I want just to say we are the only way. We are the only chance for Africa to be good, to be strong, and to be big in the world. So do anything, work hard, and do anything, do all things. So be foolish, so be I don't know because it is very simple to say that when we are going to do that is very difficult. So I just encourage all of them to be all of our power to grow up Africa. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Tinos. Thank you for being here. Vraiment, nous sommes très contents de vous avoir ici. Merci, merci.
Merci, je t'en prie aussi.
Oh, c'est beau, vraiment, nous sommes très contents.
Oh, on est ensemble, on est ensemble. Comme je l'ai dit, c'est important que nous puissions travailler ensemble pour que, parce que c'est toujours la même Afrique, hein, c'est toujours le même continent. Donc, c'est à nous de pouvoir tout faire pour être les meilleurs.
Oui, c'est ça. Maybe for those who doesn't know French, here are just trying to say that it is good for all of us to work together so that we can achieve something here in Africa.
It's amazing.
That was an interesting spiritual session. Thanks for the thanks.
All right.
Maybe let me welcome also, I saw Wycliffe N. Mogambi, the networker. He has been our supervisor. I'm welcoming him. I don't know if maybe he can just add something. Wycliffe from Kampala campus. It's like he's not yet again, has gone again.
Yeah, someone is really, someone's hand is up. I can see Kwemoy Lordfic. His hand is up.
Yes, hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm happy to just join you. I'm just a guest. I need to listen and hear from you guys what you up to.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Kwemoy Lordfic. His hand is up.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome.
Good evening,
Yeah,
members.
come on.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, members.
Good evening.
Otherwise, I'm so much grateful to join this group. Though, yes, I'm so much grateful to join this group, though I joined somehow late. And basing from your experiences and what I've heard from you, it has also challenged my life. And I think if we have another conversation another time like this one, it will be so wonderful to me, and I will learn most of the things. My question, I have two questions. My first question is, basing on your experiences as programmers, just as you have said, most of you have said that programmers, basing on your experience. Sorry?
You can go ahead.
Basing on your experiences as programmers, which advice can you give me in terms of choosing programming language? Is it good to come up with like two languages or one? Which advice can you give me from choosing programming languages? Is it good to study all languages, or you can just choose one or two or three? Then another last question is that I'm a networker by profession, and I love also programming so much, and I always study C#. I always develop my programs in C# language. Which advice can you give me as a networker? Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right, thank you so much. I want to believe that your question is going to be answered as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Joshua, maybe you could welcome in a few more questions from other people. Personally, if you also have a question, and a few other guys, so that we let our people start answering the questions, because time is not our best friend right now.
All right. We are past time by 5 minutes, but I really want to. I don't know how we're going to follow, but I thought that we should just raise up your hand. If you have a question, you just raise up your hand. we shall see it, and guys are noting, and I'm sure Enoch, Dawud, or anyone in this call, if you have a question or if you have an answer, you just raise up your hand, we give you a chance and you talk just to follow, to make our meeting organized. Thank you so much.
So should I answer some of the question, or we are waiting
Yeah,
for all the
sure.
questions? Oh,
Sure.
okay. I think I just want to say a question that said that which language can I begin from? Can I begin from any language? From my experience and from the advice I can give, there are some languages that are hard. Remember, they are not so simple to begin from. There are languages, for example, Shift. Let me give you an example. Shift, you require a Mac PC, MacBook. So if you don't have MacBook, you cannot run the program because they run on Android. But there are some other languages, many languages that you can begin from, which are very simple to learn. For example, JavaScript is a very simple language. Python is very simple. Imagine printing hello world, you just only need one line by just saying the word put, then you put in quotes hello world. But Java, my dear, Java, you have to write like 20 lines of code. And if you have left a semicolon, you even type it here. This is a semicolon here. It cannot be visible very well like that. Eh?
Yeah, we have seen.
Yeah, the semicolon. It will not run. So it becomes hard. Me, I took 1 full month. But there are some simple languages like Python, JavaScript, even C#, very simple to begin from. And so I would say for a starter, don't go for hard languages. Java is a strong language, but if you have passion, you can go for it. But you have to configure this, go into system word, so it has a lot of things. So I would still say that it is good to master in one language as you begin from, as a beginning point. You may not be able to focus on 3, Java, Python, and you may be knowing to print hello world in all those, even 10 languages in hello world, but you cannot do much. So you can begin from 1, master its syntax and the logistics. Going into another language, when you have mastered that, becomes porridge. So mastering a language is very important. So don't focus on many. But if you have if you're talented, you can go for 2. But my advice would be go for 1, master in that. As you solve the problem into that, going into another language would be simple. I've had a guy here who has said nice, and I said he loves C and is a networker. My dear, nice to see you. You are the best person to talk to. I want to say, whether you're a network or not, yesterday I was asked a question by, and you guys here who are here, you are very lucky that you're in school taking courses in computer science, whether you're at certificate level or diploma level or degree level or master's level. Yesterday I was asked a question by someone who said, Mr. Dawud, they call me Mr. Dawud, and I don't like it. I want someone to call me Dawud anyway. He said, Mr. Dawud, what is my SQL? What does it mean? He sent me a private message. He's in the organization, but this person is a dropout of senior 2. And once he realized that he can penetrate into programming, he's now learning. What am I trying to say? You guys, you have upper opportunities that you even have these things being taught. Anyway, not too much in depth. But guys who are in the organizations like open source organization that I'm working in, even that of JBref, I've worked also in JBref community that was also an open source. But you realize that most of the guys who are there, they have never gone to school. I mean, they have never studied computer science. Others studied statistics. Others even didn't go to universities. But they have penetrated through and they are working and they get the skill. And so you guys were saying networking, C#, it's nice. Master in C#, solve the problem. Once you have a language, join a community that uses that language. I have a link that can take you to those communities. I will share it, I think, on chat window here. You just go click in those organizations. You see this language, this organization uses this language, this language. Joining a community doesn't mean you need to be an expert. There are many guys who are in my organization that I'm working in. They have even no interest in programming, but they want to see how things are done in open source, and they end up becoming programmers as time goes by. And so have a language, master in it, and even before mastering, join a community. Join a community that will make you grow as you're learning. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dawud. I hope you answered these questions well, and I hope he got it all the way he wanted it. Yes, Enoch, I can see your hand up, please. You may go ahead.
And Enoch was silent for quite long. Enoch, can you speak?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, someone was on my phone calling me, and it's the one I'm using for data. So I was like, what's happening? Okay,
Just guessing that. I was guessing that.
Sorry. I can't remember the hand up. But what I was saying actually about guys who are talking of which programming language to start with, let me make something clear. We do not use a programming language is a programming language. English, French. Someone was speaking here French and I didn't understand. So he was like, was speaking C to me. But my point is this. Every time you hold a programming language, use that programming language to learn programming concepts.
Yeah.
And by programming concepts, I mean use that programming language to learn your data structures and algorithms well, to learn how modules and packages are done, to learn how object-oriented programming or functional programming is done, to learn classes and objects, to learn things like recursion. I mean, you do not use that programming language to hack, but you're using your first programming language to help you grasp programming language concepts, because after you are an expert in programming language concepts, you are not going to fail getting another programming language on board. So as you look for programming language, like Dawud has tried to advise, do not get the programming language because you want to hack. If it's your first programming language, get it to use it to learn programming concepts. And the programming concepts, I may not finish them, but programming paradigms, data structures and algorithms, modules and packages, classes and objects, loops, recursion, some of those things. So don't start with JavaScript or Python or Java to start hacking. Start with those languages to start learning programming concepts. Thank you.
Maybe, Enoch, let me add something so important. That is data structure and algorithm. Someone has to get good concept in that, and someone has to learn about the object-oriented programming. How classes are organized, concepts of inheritance, encapsulation. There is a method overloading, all those stuff. The concept here I'm talking about is very important. Someone has to understand object-oriented programming. Once you understand the concept, applying it to any other language may also speak this. We do not, whether you it doesn't matter whether you're using JavaScript to solve the world problem, whether you're using Java or Python, as long as you are able to use that language to solve the problems of the world. And so I give respect to guys who are using Swift. They also give respect whom I'm using Java and JavaScript. So the magic is using that language to solve the problem. You will just be a programmer. Sure. We don't ask that which program. Are you a programmer? Are you able to solve the problem? That's what the people want, and the market wants your skill to solve the problems.
Sure. Yeah, and also maybe a little bit that I can add on that is when you are learning maybe a programming language, to give yourself a challenge of what you want to achieve using that. that also do work, because I and myself, I tried it, and actually it helped me a lot, even if I was stuck on some of the point, getting too much bugs, but at least I tried. That's a nice thing also to try out.
Maybe you guys, as we continue, I'm not seeing your drinks, and yet for me, I'm enjoying drink. I'm drinking some water. Yes, it is good. Kasada, you can continue. The other
No,
guys
no,
are
no,
just
I'm
dry.
done. I'm done.
Okay. Maybe people with
I'm
questions that
naked.
let me. Okay.
Maybe there's no more questions. We could stop from here. I don't know.
Guys,
But anyways, thank you all of you for attending, and I want to encourage each and everybody who has attended today
Now this latecomers
to
raising
keep
hands.
Hello.
to keep on
Before
attending every time we're having a program. I want to encourage people to keep I don't know how to call it, to keep unity amongst ourselves, because this every time we meet up or every time we have an interaction, we get to learn something new. We get to discuss about something that some of us didn't know about, and then we get opportunities and chances, because who knows, through these links we share aside, we get opportunities through them. So I want to encourage all of us to continue attending these sessions we are having. Thank you so much.
let's have I'm seeing Chris's hand raised, but before Chris says something, maybe you can help us turn on your videos. Maybe we can take a picture or something. So guys, come on, turn on your videos. All right, so Chris,
But
yes, Chris.
that's something good. Yeah, let's just take a peek.
But there was a hand from Chris, and I've seen also our
Yes,
lecturer had something to
yes.
say.
Thank you all for presenting, first of all. Thank you for all the presenters and all the discussant, everyone who has shared something. Yeah, my question is just, I wanted to remind Mr. Kakumiris to share the link to the other to the community that you said. Yeah, just wanted to remind you so that you might not forget, and we can see how we can join.
Sure.
Yes, yes. Otherwise, thank you a lot.
Welcome. I'm going to share it just, I think, in 2 minutes from now. It will be on the chat window.
I thought Mr. Mugera had something to say. I don't know. He was unmuted.
Yes, please. Let me just pass this briefly as we close, before I leave and before we take the picks. What I wanted to say was, when you have, for example, a car, some of you who are drivers, a car is a transport that can take you from Bugema, say, to Kampala. A car can get you from Mbale to Bugema, but somebody can use a car from Bugema to Sika. All of you have used a car. So a car is like a tool if you have to solve the problem of transporting yourself. Now, one of the things I've come to programming is not just all about writing the past 10 it's way more beyond printing hello world. It's way much beyond programming is a tool that we use to solve a problem. It's a tool. It's a tool we use to solve a problem. And I want you people who are still to have this mentality. Now, for example, the way a problem is solved in UK might not be the same as in the Uganda. If you can use a programming language to solve the problem of Uganda in the Uganda way, then whichever language you use, you don't care. for as long as you can provide that solution in the most simplest way usable to the final user. You know, so some of you might see, for example, JavaScript being complicated, but I mean Java being complicated, but somebody might see Java being very simple. You know, when I hear French, I hear nothing. But when Sedushime listens to French, he gets everything. You know, and mind you, for as long as you can use any language you feel to solve a problem, then don't ask which language to go with. And don't ask which languages are used in the real world. All of us live in different real worlds. Your real world might not be my real world. You know, and I always tell, for example, networkers, in the next generation of networks, we are living these things of configuring things in SDM, configuring things in the CLI. Now we are in network automation, you know, network automation and in the cloud. So for us, we're using programming to solve networking problems. Others are using programming to produce software products. So in summary, I'm saying programming is a tool which you have to figure out how to use. Thank you.
And to add, just to add to Mr. Mgerwa's point, even networkers, there are open source organizations for networkers. Quite many. So open source organizations are not only for programmers, but also networkers. You can still learn and get more tools to hands-on the skills with other networkers who have done things beyond class, and you can learn from them. So joining an open source organization is very crucial. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I think maybe you can put on our cameras on so that we can just get, that pic. Yes, please.
What about people without cameras?
I think next time.
Like me.
Yeah, like
Kasada is already in block code.
Okay. Yep.
The way Richard is taking the photo as if he's using a real camera. I thought it was just a screenshot.
Guys, smile for the camera. Smile for the camera.
Smile for the camera.
Who is that one in the background of? I can see somebody in the background.
Anyway, I just want Rose Mamba. We are happy to be with you, Rose Mamba.
Can she say hi?
Rose Mamba, say hi.
Have you taken the photo?
No has been up, and I'm wondering it's now down on my screen.
Yes, no. Okay. Wow, I like this. Take a smile, please. Wow, powerful. Hey, I'm taking big. Okay, thank you guys for participating. We are really happy. I think now, Josh, I don't know what's next on the program so that we can end up.
Maybe before Josh, I'm so grateful to be here, and I would love to support. Who is that one whispering? Okay, I'm saying that I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so excited, and I'm humbled. And maybe in the meantime, I can still also get you other programmers not within the country, but those that I'm working with to come and talk to you. Once you tell me that you're ready, I can get you other guys from different experience, but we are working together. They talk to you. So it will be glad. Ian Bacha. That is a senior. So I'm saying also getting other developers to talk to you will be glad, and to be a great thing. You also get their experience. every program has a different experience, but once we hear those experiences, they make us motivated. They make us, knowing that things are possible. Programmers are just normal people. They're not ghosts, but they're people. Yeah, I think the admins of the club, we can get in touch. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dawood. He said he doesn't want to be called Mr. So thank you so much. All right, guys, I think we've come to the end of our session today, and I want to thank everybody, everyone who has participated, and those who have not said a thing, but at least you've been present. I hope all of us have learned something and have got something. We are happy to tell you that we still have a lot and a lot and a lot in store for us, for all of us to benefit as programmers of the 21st century, or as developers.
Sorry, maybe a little bit just a reminder that I wanted to talk about. After the meeting, we are going to receive some messages. I just want us, if you can take that 1 minute to complete it for the feedback about how was the meeting.
Yes.
That will help us a lot. Thank you.
You also send me.
Yeah.
Okay, I also have, I don't know whether I have a query.
Okay, go on.
I wanted to know, after the meeting, yes, what are we going to do? What's going to happen? We cannot just have a meeting and then we leave it at this. So, what's going to be the next step? Like, just a brief. I don't know if you can brief us. I don't know if there's any program that's already made for that.
Okay. Thank you, Chris, for the question. And after the meeting, always we have taken the initiative for always organizing events each and every Sunday. So I hope by this coming Sunday, we are going to have another event to see what we are going to do. Mugera talked about something about the boot camp that actually we are planning to organize, and we are still working on it to see how we are going to organize it. Even the best time we are going to organize it. To organize it. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Let's humble ourselves for a word of prayer meanwhile as we close up. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this session that we've had. We thank you for whatever we've learned and for whatever we're going to learn through whatever we've discussed, Lord. We continue to ask you to bless us that we with knowledge, so that we could continue with these sessions, and so that we could learn more and more from these sessions. As we're going to leave this meeting, may you enable us to have strength so that we keep the passion we have in what we want to do or what we desire to do in our hearts as programmers. Give us strength never to give up. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen. Yeah, and also for those who have not yet joined, there is a link I'm from pasting in the comment. If you can just take that 1 minute again to sign up, then we get to join Bugema University chapter. Like David, I think you have not yet signed up. There is a link in the comment, this one for ddc.community.dev. You can just take that 1 minute to sign up and join. Then you will get the message.